Jenna Bush Hager, co-host of NBC's Today with Hoda and Jenna, has once again given audiences a peek behind the curtain of her famous family's life, this time revealing a surprisingly relatable food hack used by her father, former President George W. Bush. Known for his down-to-earth personality despite years in the political spotlight, Bush's approach to meals has caught attention for its mixture of practicality, humor, and unmistakable Texas charm. The revelation came during a light-hearted segment on Today, where Jenna and co-host Hoda Kotb often discuss everything from parenting struggles to guilty pleasures. In between laughter and banter, Jenna shared how her father had a signature trick when it came to ordering meals that kept things simple, efficient, and very on-brand for the 43rd president. According to Jenna, Bush would always order ahead, making sure food was ready to go by the time he arrived, whether at a restaurant, a barbecue, or even while traveling. Far from a rigid political strategy, this was his way of cutting through the fuss and making sure he could enjoy time with family or friends without waiting around for service. A president who didn't like waiting. The anecdote underscores what many Americans already suspected about George W. Bush. He is a man who values decisiveness. As Jenna joked on the air, her dad doesn't like to waste time with menus, preferring instead to stick with the familiar and ensure his favorite dishes were waiting for him. He just calls ahead, Jenna explained with a laugh. It's his thing. He wants it ready the moment he sits down. This straightforward tactic, while seemingly small, paints a bigger picture of Bush's personality outside of the political sphere. For years, his public persona has been shaped by stories of discipline, routine, and his quick wit. Yet here was an everyday example, revealed by his daughter, of how he carries those traits into something as ordinary as eating dinner. How the hack works. The strategy itself is simple. Instead of arriving at a restaurant and browsing a menu, Bush would decide beforehand, place the order, and walk in knowing that his meal would be waiting. It wasn't just about efficiency, it was also about avoiding the limelight and potential disruption that comes with being a former president dining out in public. With Secret Service details often trailing behind, Bush's choice to pre-order minimized the spectacle and kept the focus on family moments rather than logistics. In a sense, it was as much a privacy tactic as it was a food hack. For everyday Americans, the move is a reminder that sometimes the easiest tricks, like calling ahead, can save time, reduce stress, and make experiences smoother. A family known for relatable stories. The Bush family has long been known for offering candid glimpses into their private lives. While George H. W. Bush, the late 41st president, was admired for his quiet dignity, his grandchildren often shared humorous tales about his quirky habits. George W. Bush himself, though remembered for steering the country through the September 11th attacks and two wars, has often leaned into self-deprecating humor and homespun charm. Jenna and her twin sister, Barbara, have carried on this tradition by weaving family anecdotes into their public work. On Today, Jenna often recalls childhood moments at the Texas ranch, life in the White House, and now the quirks of her parents as grandparents. Her latest revelation about the order ahead hack fits neatly into this pattern. An everyday quirk that humanizes a man who once held the highest office in the land. Hoda's reaction and audience laughter. When Jenna shared the story, Hoda Kotb's reaction was one of delight. Known for her infectious laugh, Hoda couldn't resist poking fun at the idea of a former president being so laser-focused on avoiding menu time. Of course he does, Hoda exclaimed, chuckling. That is so George W. Bush. Viewers flooded social media afterward, many echoing Hoda's reaction. Comments ranged from amused to impressed, with several noting they might adopt the same hack themselves. If it works for a president, it works for me, one fan posted. Another joked, I'm going to start calling ahead just so I can feel presidential. Bush's Texas roots in dining preferences. Part of the charm of the story lies in Bush's famously Texan identity. Known for his love of barbecue, Tex-Mex, and hearty Southern fare, Bush rarely strayed from his culinary roots even while serving in Washington, D.C. The order-ahead method allowed him to stick to his preferences without complication. Jenna hinted that her father wasn't the type to experiment with exotic dishes or spend long minutes studying options. Instead, he knew what he liked, simple, filling meals that reminded him of home, and he made sure they were ready when he walked in. It's a dining philosophy that resonates with many. Keep it simple, stick with what works, and don't waste time overcomplicating choices. A broader lesson in simplicity. Beyond the humor, some fans and commentators have pointed out that Bush's hack is a lesson in decisiveness and simplicity. In a culture often overwhelmed by endless options, the idea of knowing what you want ahead of time and cutting straight to the point can be refreshing. It reflects a broader philosophy Bush has expressed in speeches and interviews since leaving office. Focus on what matters most, avoid unnecessary distractions, and carve out time for loved ones. By ensuring meals were ready and waiting, he made room for conversation, laughter, and connection. Jenna's role as storyteller. Jenna Bush Hager has become one of the most beloved figures in morning television precisely because of her ability to share such stories. Balancing humor with heart, she invites viewers into her family's world while also making the anecdotes feel universal. Her father's food hack is just the latest in a string of relatable tales, from embarrassing teenage moments at the White House to stories of her mother Laura's practicality. Each story adds texture to public perceptions of the Bush family, revealing not just statesmen and first ladies, but parents and grandparents with quirks like anyone else. Public fascination with presidential habits. There is a long-standing fascination with the private habits of presidents. From Abraham Lincoln's love of storytelling to Barack Obama's basketball games and Donald Trump's fast food meals, Americans are curious about the everyday choices of those who lead the country. George W. Bush's order ahead hack now joins that cultural lore. While less dramatic than tales of statecraft, it is precisely its ordinariness that captivates audiences. It's a reminder that even presidents face the same minor inconveniences as everyone else, like waiting for food. The power of family narratives. The story also highlights the evolving role of presidential children in shaping public memory. While past generations often retreated from the spotlight, Jenna has embraced her role as both journalist and storyteller. By weaving personal memories into broader cultural conversations, she keeps her family's legacy alive while also reminding audiences of the shared humanity between leaders and the public. Social media buzz. Following Jenna's revelation, the clip quickly circulated online, sparking a wave of memes, comments, and playful debate. Some users argued that the move was genius. Why not save time by ordering ahead? Others teased the idea, joking that only a president could get away with such a demand.